adventures of Pawfficer Fuzz. Today we get to hear a story about Pawfficer Fuzz stopping some candy thieves. Oh, how I love candy. Chocolate, gummies, jawbreakers, crunchy, sour, sweet. I love it in all shapes and sizes. But my favorite are peanut butter cups, and I love the ones that come out this time of year. You know, the ones that are shaped like pumpkins. Those are my absolute favorite. So, what's your favorite candy? You can tell me now. I know that I'd love that one too. The thing about candy is that it's easy to eat too much. So only have a piece or two, but be careful to not eat the entire bag. It can give you a serious tummy ache, and it's not healthy or good for your teeth. I have to brush my teeth really well after eating candy. Well, I hope you get loads of candy this Halloween. But for now, let's go to our story. It was Halloween night. The moon, a glowing orb in the sky. Pawfficer Fuzz was patrolling Fort Smith in his trusty Fuzzmobile when the radio crackled to life.
Pawfficer Fuzz, we got a candy caper on Pumpkin Street,
Officer Robyn said. Fuzz muttered, "A candy caper on Halloween. How original."
"What was that, Pawfficer Fuzz?"
Robyn said.
"I couldn't quite make it out."
"I'm on my way." Fuzz switched on his blues and headed straight for the scene of the crime. Pumpkin Street. It was normally a cheery place filled with hopscotch and chalk on sidewalks, but on Halloween, it could get a little scary. Pawfficer Fuzz brought the Fuzzmobile to a stop and sprung into action. A group of teary-eyed children were huddled, their pumpkin pails of Halloween candy mysteriously empty. "More pumpkins," he said to himself, blue eyes twinkling. "Don't worry, kiddos. Pawfficer Fuzz is on the case." Officer Robyn and Officer Brad arrived, their faces serious. "Fuzz, the candy thieves are a group of older kids. They ran off into the night," Officer Brad reported. Fuzz's whiskers twitched. "Well, let's sniff out some clues then." As they followed a trail of candy wrappers, Fuzz quipped, "I guess they're not very good at covering their tracks. These crumbs are gonna help us find the loot." The trail led them to an old house, a known hangout for mischief makers. Fuzz, with his feline agility, slipped through an open window while Officer Robyn and Officer Brad took the front door. Inside, they found the candy culprits surrounded by their stolen treasure. One boy's finger covered in chocolate. "Gotcha, cocoa-handed," Fuzz smirked. The rabble-rousers knew they'd been had. With the culprits apprehended and the candy returned, Pawfficer Fuzz found himself at the center of attention. He cracked a few jokes for the kids whose tears were now dry and smiles beaming. One little girl even offered him a piece of her candy. "For your detective work, Pawfficer Fuzz," she said. As the night ended, Fuzz gathered the children around. "Remember, friends, always stay in groups. Stick to well-lit areas and look both ways before crossing the street, okay?" The children nodded, their eyes wide and appreciative. Pawfficer Fuzz, Officer Robyn, and Officer Brad wished the kids well and then turned back toward their cars. "Another case solved, team." "Great work, Pawfficer Fuzz," his partner said. "Great work yourselves. Remember, we're always better when we are in it together." And so, the case of the pilfered pumpkins was solved, and the legend of Pawfficer Fuzz would grow throughout the city. With that, Pawfficer Fuzz stepped back into the Fuzzmobile and hit the diner on the corner. He wasn't sure why, but he suddenly had a hankering for a slice of pumpkin pie. Wow, what an incredible story today. I just knew that Pawfficer Fuzz and Officers Brad and Robyn were going to be able to catch those thieves. And you know what? They did it together. and they saved Halloween, and those kids got their candy back, and it made me hungry for candy just thinking about it. Now, Halloween's coming, and Pawfficer Fuzz, he gave some great advice in there. While you're out trick-or-treating, just be sure that you're always safe, that you stay in well-lit areas, that you look both ways before crossing the street, and that you stay in groups. You never want to do anything alone. And those are great tips. Now, I know that you guys have some incredible costumes picked out, and I can't wait to see them this year. We'll be back soon with some awesome Pawfficer Fuzz stories, but until next time, remember to always do your best and look for ways to lend a helping hand.